Oh no! What's with the ants in my living room? Did they escape? And a big decapitated ant head? Did my pet ant colony just kill their queen? The video I didn't want to make. Watch and find out what happened to my Camponotus Nicobarensis pet ant colony starting now. Hello and welcome or welcome back to Ants Vienna. If this is your first time here, on this channel we talk about everything you need to know when you keep ants as pets. Part of this is giving you updates on my own ant colonies, and recent events require me to share some news on my Camponotus Nicobarensis ants with you guys. Like I said earlier, this is a video I didn't have planned. So what happened? My ants got crazy and went all over the place since you haven't pressed that like and subscribe button yet. Okay, all jokes aside, I do appreciate if you guys like and share my videos when you enjoy them yourselves. So, I had just woken up and on my way to the bathroom, I pass by my Camponotus Nicobarensis setup and have a look. Every single day. This morning, I saw some ants foraging outside their formicarium, in our living room. That was it. I thought I'm still sleepy, so I took a deep breath, rubbed my eyes, looked again, and the ants were still where they shouldn't be. Furthermore, I also always check if I can spot the queen, but I was unable to locate her momentarily. Anyway, with my ants running free in my house, time was of the essence. After a quick brainstorming, I remembered that I had bought a big acrylic box for a DIY project recently, so that was it. Without any longer hesitation, I applied some escape prevention oil on the walls, grabbed the whole ant farm of my Camponotus Nicobarensis ants, consisting of an outworld and this self-made DIY Yutong ant nest, and placed it within that larger box. With that quick handling, I made sure no more ants could escape. So, next I had to catch the ants roaming free in my living room, before my fiancée wakes up and notices it. Thankfully, there were no more than 20 and fairly easy to just grab and toss them in that provisional setup. Later, after finishing work in the evening, it was clear to me that there were definitely more ants than before in the larger container. So, whatever their method of escaping was, it was still open. However, what I was also able to notice was that some of the ants in the larger container were lying around, dead. What that told me was that they could only travel one way and were unable to get inside the nest again after they are out. So, to keep things short for you guys, after examining their whole setup, I found out that the only way my pet ants could have escaped was through that piece of cotton on the left side of the nest. While it was really hard plugged in, that piece of cotton was there since I first had my Camponotus Nicobarensis inhabit this ant farm. So the ants had approximately 2 years to work on it and make it weaker. The solution I've come up with was to use a silicone plug to cover the exit this time around. At this point, I need to ask you watching us, have your pet ants ever made an escape attempt? And how did you solve the issue? Let me know in the comments below. I read and answer them all. Back to our point now. While the ants were no longer able to escape, there were still more than 50 ants that needed to be returned into the ant farm from that larger box. And catching them by hand was not an option, since my movement in there was limited. For this purpose, I ended up making a DIY insect aspirator on the spot. If you don't know, an aspirator is basically a tool that lets you collect insects from one tube while inhaling via the other. By inhaling, you create a vacuum in the container between, and the ants end up getting sucked in. Let me know if you are interested in me making a DIY build tutorial for a homemade aspirator down in the comments. So, by using the aspirator, I was able to collect all wandering ants and return them to the farm. When I finally calmed down a bit, another shock was awaiting me. Do you see this huge ant head lying around? It could be that of a queen. In panic, I checked the Yutong nesting area, but could not see the queen, who usually hangs out there. After a few minutes of closer inspection, however, I thankfully managed to locate our colony's queen ant. At least one of them, since my colony did start out with 2 queen ants. It is known that worker ants can end up killing their queens by decapitating them if the population is too high for their nesting area, which again is totally true for my colony. So whether the second queen ant of my Camponotus Nicobarensis Carpenter ant colony is still alive remains a mystery until I manage to spot both queens at the same time. A truly eventful day, don't you think? What this tells me, however, is that I now seriously need to upgrade the setup of my colony. And by upgrading, I mean that we need to go at least twice the size of their current formicarium. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, let me know by hitting that like button until it turns blue, and if you want to know more about Camponotus Nicobarensis and my experience with them, feel free to check out the videos that appear on your screen right now.